Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner, and this is Season 8, Episode 1 of The Walking Dead review. I was not a Walking Dead fan. I wasn't one of the people who watched it from the beginning. I got interested in The Walking Dead around after season 5 went off. I kind of got interested, and then I ended up watching it, binge watching it, and then catching season 6 and season 7 as it played. So I am definitely a Walking Dead fan. I'm so happy that it's back on the air. And yeah, so let's get into this review of The Walking Dead. It was a good episode. I hate Negan. I really want Negan to die. So I'm going to call this season in my head the year I hope Negan dies. Because he is just such a fucking terror person, and I hate Negan. But he's a necessary evil. Every show has to have a necessary evil. And he plays that evil quite well. But it's like, is he more evil? Is he more of an asshole? Is he sadistic? I think he's in one way all of the above. So this episode starts off and we see a couple of different things. It's like a whole montage of things going on. We see like a white, grayish type of dream sequence of like a cane in the corner. We also see Rick standing over a grave in current time. We see Dwight looking at a piece of paper that says tomorrow. It was all these little flicks of things that was happening in the beginning. And they seem to be rebuilding things. You see them like with wood and steel and, they're like I'm like, what are they building? Like, are they rebuilding Hilltop? Are they rebuilding, the kingdom? Are they rebuilding Alexandria? I'm like, what part? Like, where are we in this? Like, did they just finish the whole battle from last season? Like, where are we? We see Rick is there. We see King Ezekiel. We see Maggie, who I'm going to go ahead and say she is, of course, the ruler of Hilltop. Maggie has taken her place as, a leader, as she should. It's been a long journey for Maggie. So, Rick is talking, just saying how only one person has to die today is what he's basically saying. Because we all know this is about killing Negan. Like, only one person has to die today. And I will kill him. Because we know he promised Negan that season 6, was it? When Negan came on there, that he was going to kill his ass. And we've been waiting for Rick to kill his ass since then. We also see how Ezekiel is speaking. And they're talking to like a whole bunch of people. Like it's the kingdom mixed with Alexandria, mixed with the Hilltop. So they're talking to all of their people and everything. And, Ezekiel was speaking, and Maggie spoke as well. And Ezekiel just gave a quote saying, anyone who shares blood with me today will be known as my brother. And he looks at Maggie and my sister. Because, of course, she's a female leader. And then Maggie comes up and then she even says how, they have practiced for this moment. But they just need to have faith in one another to make sure that they have a future, that the future is theirs. Meaning we have to be faithful in this fight that we finna endure. You know what I'm saying? That it's going to all work out for the best. We see Daryl and Dwight also working together, because the little flash of when we saw Dwight with the piece of paper that said tomorrow, we saw that an arrow flew past his head and it had that note on it. And I'm like, was people shooting at Dwight? I hope it's Daryl shooting at his ass. But it was Daryl, but not trying to kill him. They're sending messages back and forth, because we then see Dwight wrote something on a piece of paper and he shoots an arrow to where Daryl is, for Daryl to have that piece of paper with things on it. And I'm like, what is he giving to Daryl? We're going to come to that a little bit later. So we see that whole part. We see Tara and Carol, they're on the bridge and they're like doing some kind of little countdown. And there's like a horde of walkers under the bridge walking some sort of way. And then from there, we see, as I'm going to call him, gray-haired Rick. We see a gray-haired Rick version, and he's waking up. And we kept seeing this montage during the time it's been on hiatus, and people kept on saying, like, is he dreaming? Is that a future he's seeing? Like, is it going to be a thing where he wakes up and, everything that we've seen for the past 7 seasons is a dream? What's it going to be? So we just see him still just waking up, and and just looking around. But we also see current version Rick, and he's also kind of like coming to, you know, because we see how he's sweating, and we see this is current day Rick. So it's two different Ricks here. It's, you know, it's gray haired Rick, and then it's current Rick. And we see them both kind of opening their eyes for the first time, seeing things for the first time. So from there, we see a car driving down the road. So I'm like, okay, it's just a regular car. What's going on here? And then the person stops the truck, and they get out. And who's driving the car? It's Carl. Carl ass is old enough not to be driving. I'm like, did he go to DMV to get his license? Like, who taught him to drive? Like, I just need to be sure that he's safe and he's sound. So, we see Carl drive, but Carl is older now. You know, he's went a long way from season 1 baby Carl to this season 8. He's not an adult. He's a teenager now. So, you know, that's kind of cool. So, he's around, he's getting gas because he gets out the car. He's walking around to the different cars in the area. He has a gas can in his hands. So I'm like, okay, he's just looking for gas. But I think that's a good thing because we have all these empty cars. There will be a lot of gas available. But I wouldn't want to be ciphering gas. Like, I would need to have something that gets the gas out. I don't want to suck no gas out of nothing. I think that's just disgusting. But as he's walking through this area, he hears a random voice. Of course, he pulls his gun, and the guy's just talking like my mom said, you know, to say, he said something, I can't remember what it was, but just saying how he needed help, basically, that he was just needing help. He wasn't there to hurt anyone. And then we see that it's just actually a random guy looking for some food. But who pops up out of nowhere? Rick. And I'm like, Rick, where you come from? And he pops up out of nowhere and just kind of starts shooting in the air. He doesn't shoot at the guy. He just shoots in the air. And he does that right as the guy as Carl is seeing the guy. He's seeing he's not a walker. He doesn't have a gun pointed at Carl. He's just a guy. He's saying, you know, I was just looking for some food. You know, I'm just hungry. I was looking for some food. And then Rick pops up and starts blah, 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 shoot all up in the air. And then Carl was like, you know, he just wanted some food. And then Rick is like, you know, I just did that to scare him, to get him out of here. You know, we don't know if he's with them, meaning if he's with the Saviors. And he was like, that's not going to help. This meaning you can't have faith. What did he say? Something like you can't have, he said something. I can't remember what it was. But they said it wasn't going to help if you treat everyone like they are one of the Saviors. You know, eventually you have to start trusting people. Or trusting that they're not one of the Saviors. So from there, we see that someone has a list. And it's a list of different posts. You know, it's like, you know, up in a tree, you know, in the forest, like in some grass. And these different like hiding spots. And we see someone is taking them out one by one. With a guy up on a post. Tall up on a post. Pow! Shoots him out. He falls down. A walker eats him. We see a second person who was sitting on a car at a post. And then we see someone come up, snap his neck, and he's dead. We see a third one who was hiding in a grassy field, and they are also murdered. So we see that Daryl killed one. We see that Morgan killed one. We see that Rick also killed one. Rick killed the guy in the forest, in the grassy part, as the guy was saying, you know, you're not going to win this. Your son is going to die. Rick didn't like that at all. So there was a walker tied to a tree that Rick cut loose and let the walker eat him. You know, that's what you do when someone tells you your child gonna die. You let a walker eat him. We ain't got time for that. Nope, we don't do that kind of stuff here. But I'm like, okay, I get it. That means that when Daryl shot the letter to Dwight saying, hey, tomorrow, what Dwight shot back to him was the post of where they have lookouts for the Saviors. Because remember, Dwight said at the end of season 7 that he wanted to be free of Negan and everything. He wanted to be a part of the Alexander, or at least part of Rick and them team. And that's kind of what he wanted, because everybody knows Negan is sadistic. So that's where they have these lists of these posts and everything. So they're kind of taking people out one by one, which is a part of their plan. We also see that, you know, Pastor Gabriel is still alive. I'm like, okay, good. It's a good thing that he's still alive. And, you know, as Rick and them are, like, gearing up to leave, Rick is saying to Gabriel, you know, this all started because of one man. You know, this one man. And then Gabriel saying, well, yeah, that's usually how it starts, just like this. Meaning this war started because of one man, Negan, but our resistance is starting because of one man, you. And Rick is saying, yeah, but it's not about me. And then Gabe was like, yeah, because you made it that way. You made it not be about you specifically. It's about us as a community together, which I thought was great. We see baby Judith is a big little girl now. She's like a little toddler. She looks like she's like maybe 2 or 3, not more than 4. I don't think she's older than 4. We see how Michonne and Rick are still in love because they're kissing goodbye. We see that she can't go because she's still hurt from the fight she had. She had that tough fighting scene at the end of last season with one of the scavengers girls, and she damn near died, but she lived. So her body is still in pain and bruised and everything from that particular fight. Now we see Rick giving Carl a hug, and he's leaving, and he's saying, I'm saying, this will end. This is the end, meaning we're going to end this endless thing with Negan. And he pulls off along with, I'll say, the cavalry, because it's like 4 or 5 or 8 or 9, a whole bunch of cars pull off, and they're all kind of equipped with armor on the sides. It's like steel, not even like aluminum or steel fences, basically. We see that Rosita's there too. She didn't go though. She was in a chair on the porch, but you can see the little bullet wound in her shoulder from her getting shots at the end of the last season. So in this episode, to me, it's a lot of pieces being put together. Nothing is kind of in sequence. Nothing that you see is happening in sequence, which is great because you're left guessing, like, what am I seeing? Because in the beginning scene where we see Dwight reading this note from Daryl, we don't see Daryl shoot. We don't see Daryl shot it, or we don't even see Dwight shooting back to a little bit later on. So different. So I know it might seem like I'm jumping from place to place, but it's kind of how the episode went. So next we see they're all at like this field, and they're all in these armored cars, and they're all together, and it's the Hilltop people, it's the Alexandrians, it is the Kingdom, and everyone's coming together because of course they're all joining together to take down the Savior. So we see new faces and old faces. We see Jesus is there. We see King Ezekiel, Enid. We see Jerry who is King Ezekiel's bodyguard. I'll say he's there. We saw Aaron, and it's basically a meeting. It's like a melting pot of belief, is what I would say, because everyone is anxious to kind of be a part of this resistance against Negan, and they're all coming together for the greater good of everything. So we see Maggie talking to Rick, because Ezekiel, Rick, Maggie, I think Jesus was there. It's so weird to call somebody Jesus. I want to call him Jesus, but that's not what his name is on here. But yeah, they're all just kind of talking about how they're going to get to do this. They're asking Maggie if she really wants to go through this, because remember, Maggie been pregnant for 2 seasons. Okay, Maggie is still pregnant with Glenn's baby. She is still not showing. I always hate when any show has a character pregnant for so long who never shows. For me, that's just weird. But I still love The Walking Dead. So Maggie is telling Rick how she can't stop fighting now, basically just because she's pregnant. Even though she's still pregnant, she's like, I heard that you can still fight through the second trimester. Well, no, at least through the first. She'll be able to fight through the first part of this, and then she'll rest during her second trimester. And of course the rest of it. Ezekiel is letting Maggie know that they have a doctor at the Kingdom, and that she's welcome to come there to get medical attention, because eventually she's gonna need some medical attention. Okay, she's pregnant with a baby. She's only the second person within this series that's shown pregnant. We saw Rick's wife, whose name I cannot remember right now, who was pregnant, and baby Judah's mom, she was able to carry a baby, but we saw that it was a hard thing to deal with, and that was in the beginning. So, and that's when they didn't have doctors. So even though it could be a bit easier now because they have some sort of a community, it's still a lot to go through. And lets her know that she can come to the Kingdom for medical attention. Rick is telling her how leadership looks good on her, and she's like, well, yeah, I had a great teacher to teach me leadership. I've been fighting since the farm, meaning she's seen her dad Herschel fought. She has seen her Glenn. She has watched Rick. But she has seen leaders in different people, and she has adapted to be a leader within herself. Even if it's not exactly the same way they've done things, the principle is still the same. And Rick tells her, that how the Hilltop is lucky to have her, and lets her know, after this is over, I'm going to be following you. Meaning, I can follow you now. It doesn't always have to be me. Rick is a lot of times making things not about him, but about everyone around him. He's had his moments where he kind of, went a little left, but at the end of the day, he has always been about protecting the people, basically. So from there, what do we see? Oh, from there, it's the bridge. And we see Tara, we see Carol, who else was up there? Daryl and Morgan. And they're basically waiting on a herd of walkers. So they're sitting on the bridge and they're like counting down. And they're like, hey, what's going on? And then finally you see the herd of walkers coming. So from there, we then see a car on the bridge get blown up. And I'm like, who blew the car up? But I'm like, okay, this must be their plan. Okay, fine. So from there, again, it's scene to scene, so don't think I'm just taking y'all in different places. This is how the story went. So back at the Savior's camp, we see they heard something, the explosion or something go off. So Dwight is on like a walkie-talkie. He's like, what was that? We don't know. Go check it out. Send two cars, 10 guns. We're taking it serious. And they're like, do you think it's them? And he's like, nah, probably there's something that, we need to check it out. So he sends them off, and then they're gone. And then on the walkie-talkie back and forth, you hear women saying, I'm ready for blood and fights and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm ready for, I'm ready for blood, basically. And, Dwight is like, well, maybe you might get lucky today. Because I'm like, Dwight, no. Because he sent them the list. Of course, he is in on this takeover of the revolution is what I'll call it, because there's so many different people that's been included in it, so from even that scene, when Dwight sends the cars out, we then see Dwight is at the prison at the Savior's camp, and he's just sitting there smoking a cigarette, and we see two lookouts who are like above him on the building, and they're like, pow, pow. Somebody shoot them, take their ass out. I'm looking like, okay. And as that happened, Dwight just smokes a cigarette and then walks away. I'm like, okay, it's getting down and dirty right now, people. And, from there, all the cars pull up. Rick and all the cars who are protected with this armor on and everything, they all pull up back to back to back to back to back at the Savior's camp. And then they come out like the car, and they just start shooting. It's not automatic weapons, but all of them are shooting up, and they just shooting up in the air just to get attention. I'm like, well, what is they doing? What's going on? I'm like, are they trying to lead the herd of walkers there and then pull off? Like, what's going on? Because they're just like, they're not being quiet. And from there, we see that they are in front of the Savior's place, and Negan comes out. Like, well, I was in a meeting. And it kind of goes to commercial. So, when it comes back, we see this same gray-haired Rick. And it's like, and we see gray-haired Rick first. Then we see current Rick. But gray-haired Rick just wakes up, and of course, he's just looking around the room. And it's like this all-white, bright, beautiful type, dreamy-like room. But we get back to current Rick, who's sweaty and tired, and his eyes look tired. So it's these two different contracting Ricks. We then see gray hair Rick get up, and he's basically walking around the house. He walks downstairs. There's Michonne at the table. Like, he's like, oh, you didn't wake me up? You cut the alarm off? Like, I thought you deserved to sleep in. We see how Carl is there. Like, yeah, we all are playing hooky today. And it's, it's a whole different vibe with this, gray haired Rick. And then from there, it's back to reality, where Negan is like, he doesn't want to play with whose dick is bigger with Rick, meaning, you're here at my place, and clearly you came to fight. And, you know, it's going to be like whose stick is bigger, who can win. And he's like, you know, I'm not going to play that game with you today. You know, I don't want my people dying just for that. You know, that's some dumb shit. So what are you here for? And Rick then goes, and he's like, you know, Dwight, Simon, Gavin, because when Negan is outside, he has his lieutenants standing out there with him. So we do see Eugene's old snake ass out there. We do see Dwight, Simon, Gavin, and the girl who we then find out her name was Regina. And he's like, you know, listen, y'all have a chance to survive this, you know, but only if you surrender. But I only can offer this to you now. I can't promise that y'all will be, you know, unharmed or come out of this unscathed if y'all don't surrender right now. I'm giving y'all a chance to do that. And, you know, Negan like, well, that's a good idea, but it's not gonna happen. You know, do you even have the numbers to do this? And I'm like, Negan, do you? We know he do. We ain't gonna talk about that. So from there, who do we see walk out? Who do we see walk out, people? We see Gregory, old snake stuff, walking out. Yes, Gregory deserted the hilltop or left the hilltop. And where did he go? He went to Negan's, or to the Savior's. And he's coming out saying, you know, the hilltop is with Negan. Anyone who doesn't, you know, who isn't with Negan, you know, you cannot come back to the hilltop. You know, if you're against him, you'll be thrown out of the colony. Your family will be thrown out of the colony. And if none of you guys, you know, agree, you won't even have a home to come back to at the colony. And, you know, Maggie's looking around. The other hilltop members who are there kind of looking around, thinking about it. You know, Maggie says to a couple of them, you know, do what's best for your family. You know, I get it. You know, she then looks at Jesus, and he was like, all I have there is like a blanket and some stuff, so I'm okay. And then, you know, Gregory yells out, you know, the hilltop is, and Jesus yells louder than Gregory and says, the hilltop is with Maggie. Because Maggie is their leader now. Yes, she is. And when he says that, of course, Negan looks different because he doesn't believe that. And who was the guy? Simon. I think it's Simon. Who was the guy who I don't like either. He's one of the top guys. He looks at Gregory like, I feel like I wasted my time with you because we thought that you were the person to get in with, and they not even with your ass. And he pushes him down the stairs, and Gregory, of course, tumbles. And then we see the two cars, because as all of this is happening, Tara, Carol, Dwight, and Morgan are all like on this overpass, and they see a walker walking, and then Tara's like, you know, is he gonna set it off? So Morgan chases this walker down because the walker's kind of far away, and he prevents him from setting something off. So then a little bit later, we see these two cars, the same two cars that Dwight sent off to check on this explosion they heard. And Dwight told them when they leave, you know, take this and this route because it's easy. He sent them on this route because they had this thing set up. So we see as the cars are riding through this route, also where Morgan and them are at, the cars blow up because they have all these explosions set to go off. So I'm like, okay, they all blow up. From there, you know, Rick is saying, okay, y'all got 10 seconds. You know, are y'all going to surrender? Like, what's going to go on? He's like, do y'all want me to count? Really? Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7. He just starts shooting. I'm looking like, okay, Rick, shoot him up. I'm like, I love watching it. It's such a great show, such great actors, you know. And as you know, Negan and everyone else is running back into the Savior's territory. You see Rick and everyone else shooting out all the windows. So they're shooting from the bottom all the way up, shooting out so they don't have cover. All your windows are broken. We're breaking down your defenses, basically. You know, we see, you know, so from there we see back to Tara, Morgan, and all of them. You know, they have this, everything is blown up. You see walkers coming, and you see Tara like, you know, it's great doing business with you. So then her and Morgan get in the car. We see Carol, she's talking to Daryl, and just Daryl is saying, you know, this is going to be fun. And she's like, this is not going to be fun. And he's like, yeah, you know, because anything's better than leaving it the way it is. And she's like, well, yeah, you're right. So Daryl rides off on his motorcycle. You know, Carol walks away. I think she went to get in the car. And as Daryl is riding away, he's shooting and blowing up bombs on his route to get places. I'm like, what is he doing? He's making noises so all of the walkers can follow the explosions, follow the fire, because that's what they follow. They follow fire and they fire noise. Great idea, actually. Because he's just setting off these back-to-back explosions as he's riding through. So from there, back to the Savior's camp, it's still a whole bunch of shooting going on. It's like, everything is shooting. We see that they have now blown up the old camper, but they made sure that it was in the Savior's territory, so there was a big, they're basically breaking down their structure, breaking down their security, attacking where it hurts. We see Negan, who comes out limping. I'm looking like, okay, they gonna kill Negan in episode 1. I'm okay. Yes, kill him. But they don't at this time because he's limping. Because I was thinking it was gonna kill him right then. And we see Rick and he's shooting, brrr, brrr, and he's just shooting. And but Negan is behind like a steel wall. Basically, he limped out and kind of ducked behind there for cover. And Rick is shooting. He's like in a trance and he's shooting. And you can hear lightly someone saying, Rick, we gotta go. But Rick is in a trance. He's just, brrr, brrr. He's just shooting because he's trying to kill Negan. Like I told y'all, I was gonna kill him. I want to kill him. Finally, he kind of comes to him here that it's Gabriel who's saying, Rick, we gotta go. Remember, this isn't about you. So Rick kind of comes to his senses. He's like, okay. So Rick goes to the car. He then pulls out a Polaroid camera and takes a picture. I'm like, okay, take a picture because it'll last longer. Okay, Rick, we get you. So from then, Rick pulls off. We see Gabriel get in his car. Gabriel stops and he looks. And who does Gabriel see? He sees Gregory Snake Ass. And when Gabriel seen Gregory, this was me at my house. Gabriel, don't do it. Go. Leave him. Don't do it. I was literally yelling, don't do it. Fuck him. Go, Gabriel. Leave. Pull off. But Gabriel is a priest at the end of the day. And he wants to preserve life no matter how much a person doesn't deserve to live in this particular show. And he goes back for Gregory. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? He says to Gregory, we'll get out of this. I'm back. I'm here to save you. Even Gregory says, thank you. And then Gabriel says, no, thank God. He's like, well, whoever. See, at that point, I would have left his ass sitting there. But Gabriel is the good person. People are shooting, and Gregory says, why are they shooting at me? What's going on? And he's like, we have to wait for the perfect moment so that we can both leave. Gregory does what Gregory does the best. He played Gabriel. Because as he sees that people are shooting and he can get away even if they both can't, he gets up and he runs to the car that Gabriel was supposed to be in, and he pulls off and he leaves Gabriel there to die. I'm like, I just need somebody to kill Gregory too. Like, I need you to kill Negan, kill Gregory, kill the scavenger's head lady, because she's also the person I don't like. We did not see the scavengers at all this episode, in case you were wondering. So yeah, he left Gabriel there. From there, we see Carl, who went back to this place, the little gas station, where he saw the guy who wanted food. He leaves him 2 cans of food with a little note that says sorry. And then we see the guy seeing him leave it there. So we know that's going to be something that's going to come up later. We see the gang it was Daryl, that was Rick, and they're waiting for Gabriel because they were all supposed to meet up at a certain place. And Rick is telling Daryl he came back for me. I was still shooting at Negan, trying to catch him, and he came back and got me out of there. But we can't wait for him. We have to leave. So of course, they leave. Next, we see they are at another location of the Saviors, basically shooting that place up too. But we then see a person toss a bomb their way. So it kind of brings a halt to their rebellion at that particular location. But then it cuts back to Negan's main place, and we see all the walkers hoarding in because it's open rain. And from there we see Gabriel is still alive. So he's running, trying to get into any open door he can. So he finally finds one, open door in this trailer park type bunker type of area, and he's able to get himself in there and kind of get to safety, so to speak. But he is not alone. And who was in that bunker with him? Negan. Yep. Negan comes from the shadows to say, I hope you got your shitting pants. And Gabriel's like, what? Your shitting pants. I hope you got your shitting pants on, because you're going to shit your pants. Because they are locked in this bunker together, and there are hordes of zombies all around attacking the bunker. And they are basically just locked in. So, yeah. The last couple things that we see is, we are back to this future gray-haired Rick. And, he's seen talking to a little Judith, who's even older than what she is now. So, of course, this is a future scene, whether it's realistic or imaginative, it's a future scene. And they're talking about a festival that they're having there at Alexandria. And then he and Judith walks out, and you see people planting and just, community, basically. From there, you get back to current Rick, who's still sweating and looks tired. And he just says, my mercy prevails over my wrath. I'm like, okay, I get it. We're going to see how that comes up. So the ending scene is Rick giving the speech that he actually gave towards the beginning. But it's just him basically saying, if we start tomorrow, everything that we've been through, everything we've endured, everything we've lost will be worth it, and we would have won if we start tomorrow. Because no matter what comes next, we've already won. And then the episode goes off. So it was a great first episode. I really loved it. I'm about to watch the Talking Dead, because I want to do this review first. So I'll be back next week. If most of you are new viewers, I hope you tune in next week. So yeah, put your comments below that you want. Please remember to like, share, and always, if you like my videos, you like my channel, go ahead and subscribe. Watch my videos. I love new subscribers. But that was my review of The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 1, titled Mercy. Until next week, everybody, I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner.